Rap is out of control.
Is there anybody that you look at the beat game right now and you're like, wow, their game is...
I mean, I just look up to the classic, you know what I mean, P-Rock, and, you know what I mean, the people we grew up on.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean, I graduated in 94, so...
Right.
The super classic 90s era stuff,
right.
So...
But are those guys still
y'all
making beats
stuff
now
included with that, you know what I mean?
But are they making beats now that you still go, wow, that is amazing?
Yeah,
like,
that's some of the only people, like, when... Like, you know, I'm gifted enough to know Pete Rock and stuff. So when he sends you some, like, he might send you some stuff nobody heard, and you just like scrunch face the rest of the day. So you know, stuff like that, or going on Instagram and seeing knots. I see him like he'll be like beat 20, and like it'll be every joint is like, yo,
I ain't gonna front. I ripped some of his IG posts to play instrumental beds up there.
Crazy, yo. You got like it's clear. Them joints be clear.
And the question goes to Ace now too, because you're still making music, you're still making relevant music.
Thank God.
But are there producers now that you feel like I gotta get in the lab with blank, and how do I make that happen? Or is it just a thing of osmosis where people send you beats and you catch a vibe and it doesn't matter who they are? Or do you have an objective when you go into like Falling Season where you're like, I gotta work with blank because this record and the lyrics that I wrote feel like this producer's record?
It's really all of the above. You know, there's definitely cats like me and Marco Polo have been talking about doing something next year. But there's a lot of cats like Kev Brown that, to me, paved the way for the next generation of dudes that's coming down the pike. But I'm glad that it's cats like Kev putting it down kind of the right way with that soulful, warm, good boom bap, kicking snare, knocking feel. At the same time, there's cats that like Premier, that me and Premier been talking about doing a joint together forever.
I thought it was gonna happen. Like we had the conversation.
I have the beat
here, like years ago.
I have the beat.
But how does that not happen? Like how does it go from conversation
because it's DJ Premier? That's why.
Nah, it
that's
really
not
isn't.
Even, but
it's
nobody understands that answer. Like I want to know what that answer is. Like he sends you a beat.
He actually didn't send me a beat. This is what happened. Okay. He was working with what's the light skinned kid?
He was working with Well, now I can't remember either.
He was traveling with him.
I get it in a second.
Light Skin Kid X was working with Premier.
Yeah. Okay. And we were on tour together. We were in Australia. It was me and Ed OG, Premier, and Beat Nuts. And at one of the sound checks, that was a sound check in Sydney.
Nick Javis.
Thank you. He played this beat in the sound check, and I was like, "What's that? What's that?" And he's like, "Oh no, that's for Nick. That's for Nick." I was like, ooh. So, like, later on in the night, I pulled Nick to the side. I was like, yo, what's up with that beat? He was like, nah, that's a special. I'm doing something with that, whatever. So I left it alone. About a year later, I hear that they're not working together no more. So me being, you know, the grimy person that I am, hit Premier back up like, but whatever happened with that Nick Javis beat?
That happened outside of here.
Yeah, it's actually, it was. And he was like, I don't know which beat you're talking about. And we went through a couple of joints, and he was like, I said that. He's like, oh, you can have it. I was like, bet. And I've been sitting on it for almost 3 years now.
Yeah. Okay. But we still should not let Premier off the hook for it. We should still blame him for it taking
Just blame him anyway?
Of course.
But there's something about, but there's something to be said, and a lot of aspiring artists need to know this. Like, I had a Searchlight credo, almost a mission statement with everybody I worked with, which is it's basic, simple. Classic shit breaks all the rules, which means if you have a beat that is incredible and you think it's right now, if it's truly incredible, 3 years from now, it'll be right now.
Those are the type of beats I like.
You know what I'm saying? And those are the things. So you sitting on a Primo beat isn't because you're waiting for it to become right now. Right.
Nah, not at all.
You're sitting on the beat because you're saying, I have to catch a vibe to it and really bless it the way I need to.
Well, let me guess. Also, if anyone knows anything about Ace's projects, everything has some kind of cohesiveness to it. There's a theme. Right. There's skits that tie it together. He has ideas for each project. So I'm guessing that the Premier track just doesn't. It's not for this project, especially because Kick Beats did the whole entire thing. So.
The rhymes that I had for the Premier beat actually are on this album, The Joint Story of Me.
Okay.
And it was just because I was working on this project, and I needed to take those rhymes and apply them to this project. Regretfully, but now I have to rewrite something special for the premiere joint. That's how it happens.
And Kevin, you can talk about how difficult that is when an artist writes to one of your beats and you think it's coming out, and you anticipate it coming out, and then it doesn't come out.
Yeah.
And then you're wondering, why is it in limbo, and what do you do in that situation when rapper X gets your beat?
Charge it to the game. I'm kind of used to it now.
But do you pull a beat from a guy and say, listen, you sat on a beat for 6 months?
I've done that too. It's some people that I've been like, Freddie Fox, that people, you know what I mean? Like
Name
a
names,
whole album of stuff that I'm like, that I've never let nobody hear.
Fox has an album with every producer that he's been sitting on.
Shout out to Freddie Fox.
For like 10, 15 years.
Yeah, we don't want to get Freddie Fox mad. He will
let him out the game.
Right.
But I talked to him recently. He said he's going to, it's going to start, finally coming out with stuff. But, then you got some people that's not Freddie Fox that you don't have to respect. No disrespect, but it's like, hey man,
come on,
I sent you this beat tape like a year ago.
Right.
So and so want this beat.
But when does the cord get pulled? Like for you, when do you say, okay, this is a new artist I want to work with. This is an artist who I believe in. I'm going to bless him with some beats.
Yo.
And the expiration date is blank.
Well, it depends on at that point. It's the relationship. If we friends, like cats, like in my crew and stuff, it'll be beats that. Sometimes I'm like, I want so-and-so to hear this, but then somebody in the crew will come along, and if you closer with your crew than strangers, so it's like, all right, you got it. You know what I mean? Or some, I used to like send beats out, and if like nobody picked beats, I would hit my crew off with beats.
Right.
So it was back and forth, but it's definitely pieces of all of that. You know what I mean?
Of course. I remember back in the day. I had Doug Infinite used to send me beats to listen to, and there was this one beat that I played for Ill Bill, and he was like, "Yo, I want to use that." And so I hit Doug up like, "Yo, we want to use this one." He's like, I gave that to my man, whatever, kid around the way, independent kid. We were like, can you get it back from him? He's like, I'll ask. He came back. He's like, he really wants to use it. So we were like, all upset. Let it slide. A year went by. 2 years went by. 3 years went by, 4 years went by, 5 years went by.
Damn.
Record never came out. On the 6th year, we jacked it.
Wow.
We were like, Doug, I love you.
Yeah.
That's fair.
We got to put it out.
That's a
you know
lot.
what I'm saying?
No, and that's fair. Like that seems to be like
more than fair.
That's more than
you
fair.
went 3 years past.
Yeah, that's more than
we
fair.
gave you 6 years to use the record. You didn't use the record. We're gonna use the record.
Like here's an example. I just want to put this out there. I know we want to get back into music, but I want to put this out there. You play a beat tonight, right? Kanye hears it. Right? Kanye's working on Winter, Darkest Winter, whatever the fuck the name of the album is, right? But that beat is for your man. But
me and my man gonna have to have our conversation.
Okay.
Yo.
And Kanye's like, Kev, that beat's incredible. I want that beat for this project.
Right.
But he's another dude that sits on beats for years. But it's Kanye. How long would you let Kanye sit on a beat before you gave it back to
as long
your
as
man?
the check clears, that's how long.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what?
Because cats like Kanye, they pay you for your services.
Right.
So that kind of helps out.
Sure, it's also going to be it's a door opener. I mean, the same exact thing with My Time's Up remix for OC. Right. That beat was a demo I did with my man Ness from Dynasty, and it was a joint he had called Lounge and Maintain, and it was part of the demo we were going to shop, and then I just used the beat for the homemade remix of Time's Up, and everyone loved it, and so I hit Ness up, and I was like, I have an opportunity to use this for OC Time's Up. And he's like, go for it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he understood. It's like, it's going
I
to be
feel
a
like
better
if your
opportunity.
friend is your real friend, he's not going to be like, we not friends no more. Because if that's your real friend, he know y'all people, so you going to make more beats.
Right.
Exactly.
And, I'm going to catch the next one.
No doubt.
So.
And that led to more opportunities and for them to get more records out.